All right, so the last category or categories, I'm gonna kind of lump them into one. It's not track specific, it's driver specific. I was gonna do like best drivers, your dirtiest drivers, that kind of thing. But then I realized my top three for dirtiest drivers for this year are actually all friends of mine on Facebook. Don't know how that worked out, but so I chose not to do a worst, not a worst driver, but a dirty driver section. So we're just sticking to best drivers this year. Now, I broke it down in two ways. I just did, in my opinion, the top three best drivers we faced this year. And then I did a best driver by track. So to start off, best drivers. First one, I feel like anybody that races in the Midwest, anybody that races kind of Kansas, Nebraska, that area, anybody that races IMCA is going to agree that your 2025 national champ, John Martinez, is probably the best driver you'll face. Man, he doesn't make mistakes. You can race him as hard as you want. You can try to show him the nose to try to get him to come off his line. He doesn't make mistakes. Plain and simple. Easy as you can put it. And I think that goes a long ways. He's smooth and doesn't make mistakes, and you can't really top that. Second, there's a lot of controversy around him, but Dylan Richards, man, the guy can wheel a car. There's a lot of people that question the legality of his cars, but, man, Dylan can drive a car. Obviously, look at his wins this year. There's no denying it. Love him, hate him. You go watch the footage. And there's no denying that he is a great driver. Do I think he's better than John? That's debatable. John is really smooth. Dylan's aggressive. They kind of have two completely different driving styles, but they're both successful in what they do. And I think it was just coincidence that they're both web chassis guys. But they're both just good drivers, and they deserve to be first and second on my list. Now, third is not a web car. Third is a driver out of Oklahoma, Jason Weber. I believe he won both nights of the USRA Nationals this year in sport and tuners, and I believe one was because of a disqualification of another driver. That I don't know the whole story, but basically later they tore his stuff down and found out that it wasn't illegal, but they didn't didn't take back the DQ. But either way, even if Jason didn't win both nights, Jason Weber is fast. Even if he didn't win both, it was a first and second. So he was fast. Either way. Jason, we raced against him at Salina this year. We raced with him at the Joey Herget Memorial. And then we raced with them in Springfield. And man, the guy everywhere we've been, he's been up front. So he finds his way to the front no matter where he goes. And in my eyes, that puts you as a good driver. I kind of compare that against everybody else that we've raced with. And I would say that, he is one of the guys that always finds his way to the front. Everywhere we've been, he's been, one of the front cars. And so in my eyes, that puts him up there in the best drivers talk. Now, another way to break it down, all three of these drivers made my list for best driver by track. But my best driver by track, I basically broke it down. I wanted to give more drivers a chance to make it that weren't those guys. And so I wanted to kind of just break it down so that way other drivers that aren't in that top three have a chance. So Salina, John Martinez took that. We raced him at Salina more than anywhere else. And, every single time we raced there, every time we raced there that John raced there, he won. And we were second. So John Martinez takes the cake there. Beatrice, Dylan Richards. Everybody from the Beatrice area knows Dylan Richards is good. So no denying that. Now, a driver that we haven't talked about, next up on the list is the best driver, in my opinion, at I-35 Speedway in Winston, Missouri. and I kind of had to think long and hard about, actual like best driver. There's a couple others that I wanted to put on there. But my number one best driver, I put as Brad Mick. Now, there's a lot of controversy. Brad can be a very rough driver, but when under pressure, the guy is fast and he's smooth. And so that's why I put him first, not based on maybe some of the negative things that he does in racing, but based on when it matters, his driving when it matters. And so that's why I put him as best at I-35. There's honestly a ton of fast guys at I-35. And so it was kind of tough. David Miller is fast there all the time. You have Ryan Hinkle, Brad Mick, you have Sam Moore. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anybody. Hunter Throckmorton, guys that can win it on any week. I know there's some that I'm missing, and I apologize, guys. But there's at I-35, there's a lot of guys that could win it, so it was kind of tough. But look at if you don't believe me, go to the results. Look at I-35 and look at Brad Mick's record. He's fast, and it's not deniable. Next, on to Humboldt. So Humboldt, I only raced this guy a couple times this year. He's fast, he's smooth, and he has no fear driving a car into the corner deep. But Clint Hagler, I believe that's how you say his name. If I'm mispronouncing it, I'm sorry, Clint. But he is a great driver. Talked to him a little bit. I've only talked to him a couple of times I've been there, because he's only raced a few times that I've been there. But yeah, great driver, fast every time. He's known to be the fast guy to beat at Humboldt when he shows up. So that's that one. Nevada, I have as Connor Rigsby. Now, Connor was actually going to be my number one driver for Humboldt, but I wanted to have a different driver for every track. And I didn't want to have the same one twice. And Clint honestly is fast. But Connor, I originally put him up for Humboldt, got to Nevada, and I went, man, I need somebody for Nevada. And, smooth driver-wise, I felt like Connor Rigsby took the cake there. I know at the end of the year he didn't have as many wins at Nevada, but I felt like he needed to be on the list. So he definitely makes the list there. He had some wins at Humboldt, had some wins at Nevada. I think he kind of struggled in the second half of the season. He may have had some wins, and I may be wrong there. But I know he picked up 10 or 12 wins this year. So definitely deserves to be on that list. 81 Speedway, I don't know his win record, but just based off of the one night I was there, Joseph Yeager, I believe is how you say his last name. Hopefully I'm not wrong there. But man, he can wheel a car. I was watching him just throw it in there. He was in third, I believe, the night that I was there. I was first, or I was leading it, and he was in third before getting taken out by another car that just overdrove the corner and took him out. But then I watched some other videos, and it just seems like he is one to wheel a car. So I put him first at 81. I know that maybe some other drivers are offended by that. Maybe they disagree. But I only had my one night there to judge it. And, I felt like he was one that I enjoyed watching. When I went back and watched the video, I enjoyed watching. RPM, again, we only raced there one time. It's kind of hard to judge with only racing there one time. But I would have to say that Jake Schween is probably my pick. Fast, drove hard, drove a pretty smooth race. We found a line, kind of a weird diamond line in 3 and 4 is the only reason we were able to run him down. But he's a weekly fast guy. I mean, I don't know how many wins he got there this year, but it seems like he's always fast there. And so, I feel like, I don't have much data to go off of, but he is definitely the guy that I would say is the best driver there. And then last is Springfield. We already went over Jason Weber. Again, he's fast. I had to put him somewhere. I didn't want to leave him off this list just because we didn't race. Enough races together. But I want to put an honorable mention on Springfield, a weekly driver, and that's Amadeus Keeper, I believe is how you say his name. That guy wheeled it up to second. I went back and watched the video, and it was just like at the end of the race, man. This guy just came out of nowhere, wheeled it through the field, and made it up to second, and actually was running me down. And if you gave this guy a handful more laps, I may not have a turkey here. So definitely honorable mention. But yeah, so that's my list of best drivers.